This is the Ruckus and the Menace.
Challenge accepted. No.
Oh no! We suck again!
I'm getting confused. What game are you calling?
I'm calling both games!
It is caught by Kelsey! Touchdown! Kansas City!
There you go. There it is.
There's a winner. Look at that.
Back.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you,
Welcome to the Ruckus of the Menace podcast, episode number 156, fam. I'm Spenace the Menace, and I've got some bones to pick with my own football team. But we'll get to that in a moment.
Welcome to the club.
I mean, I have let mine go on for far too long.
I feel like
And
that's
we are
an
gonna go
understatement. I feel like we both have gone far too long. I've talked so much shit, but Jesus. Anyways, Spenace, go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna say you're gonna say that when I'm saying that we're just gonna get right into brass tacks. And before I spontaneously combust and go off, let's just get into the other 1 o'clock games.
Are you telling me that yours was quicker than mine? Because, my God, I feel like I'm quicker to the punch. Jeez.
No. I mean, the problem is that mine is going to go before you just simply on timing, because we go in order.
All right, I'm dead.
The 1 o'clock games go like this. Let's start with actually some good games. The Bills defeating the Bengals 39-34. And I'm going to say this is the epitome of what a great snow game is supposed to be. And I don't think the Bengals need to play as if hope is gone. Even though they lost this one, I still think the AFC North is wide open.
Yeah. I don't have much opinions, but good on the Bills for taking care of business, because last time they were not doing the greatest, and I believe that was last year in the postseason, right? Like
And the Bills are such a mixed bag. They are the Forrest Gump life is like a box of chocolates team in the NFL, because you never know which team for the Bills you're gonna get.
At least they realized that Amari Cooper was not one of those elegant box of chocolates. And the same with McCole Hardman, as McCole just went down with another injury, God forbid. At least the Chiefs figured that out.
Why you got no legs?
They got blown off in the Great War of the AFC Championship. Sorry, McCole Hardman, you're gonna have to get roasted, because there's a reason we didn't pick your ass up after the Packers dropped you off to the curb.
And then the next game we're going to talk about here, surprisingly here, the Titans defeating the Browns 31-29.
At least Cam Ward got the shit stain off of his britches that was the Titans. You're welcome.
We might get to see what kind of pros potentially we could have in a matchup between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. But this is in spite of the smokescreen of both of these organizations are complete garbage.
At least Sanders was able to cover his tracks, unlike his dad.
Where are you going with this? Because Dion...
Bad stomachs for Dion. Well, I probably shouldn't make fun of Dion, because he actually survived his... Never mind. Let's keep going. That was a bad joke.
You were trying to pull a joke in bad taste, but I'm actually talking about football here. Like, Dion was not a terrible player.
Shedeur's actually kicking ass, though, but God forbid the Browns lose a game based on their own principle.
The Saints defeating the Bucks 24-20, and I think Tampa Bay might have gotten caught looking too far ahead.
For sure.
As they've got they've got two matchups with Carolina that loom much larger on their radar. And this loss to Tampa Bay just said, it's just got real.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain that one. That was just like a Houdini, it seems.
The Steelers defeat the Ravens 27-22. And both of these teams, as far as their quarterbacks go, they just look broken.
I think the whole fucking NFL is broken.
I'm saying that these two quarterbacks are so injured that not even an auto repair shop could fix what's going on.
Not
And
even
then,
a quick GTA garage in the I don't even remember what the damn shop is called, but whenever you go into the garage of it in GTA to like magically repair your vehicle from the absolute destruction it had, like how do you compare that to the NFL?
Yeah. And I'm still saying that the waters among the AFC North are still murky. Because really, I'm going to say neither the Steelers nor the Ravens looked extremely dominant.
Aren't they near Michigan?
What, Pittsburgh and Baltimore?
I'm talking out of my ass, but yes.
Do you have a map of the United States in front of you right now?
No.
Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Pittsburgh is in Pennsylvania, Baltimore in Maryland. None of these teams are anywhere near Michigan. I mean, granted, Pittsburgh is near Lake Erie, but that is all the way on the eastern side of the Great Lakes. Michigan is not that close.
Maybe I'm just talking NFL. I'm not even talking English at this point. Just anything is stupid.
They're both the Lions and the Steelers are in northern divisions, but other than that, there's no real closeness and proximity between the two.
Has the NFL lost its identity?
I think the NFL has done something interesting. And I don't think it's losing an identity as it is developing an identity that is just very confusing as to what it is anymore.
What am I? Stupid? No, I'm Texas. What's the difference?
At least there's one team in Texas that can play, but we'll get to that later.
It just feels like it started in Texas and then it just kind of evolved, but it's just like now we're just like, what the hell has happened?
But if you actually look at the history of the NFL as a whole, it actually was mostly among mostly the state of Ohio. If you really look at it ironically.
Like mostly Midwest born just intelligence.
Not necessarily. If you want to consider it that. But it is now time for my complete disintegration of the Washington Commanders' state of the NFL season at this point. We just lost to the Minnesota Vikings 31 to a big old fat Krispy Kreme. There are a lot of hard truths on this season.
God damn, we have so many good titles on this podcast. First it's Midwest Intelligence, and now it's Krispy Kreme.
I am not happy with this team. In this game, the Washington Commanders flat out, they threw in the towel. Basically went right from as soon as Debo dropped that incredibly questionable throw into the back of the end zone. And from there, as Minnesota started scoring all over us and us making mistakes, we're here waving a white flag saying, no mas.
Hey, at least the Commanders, at least for your team, you just like put your pillow to rest, whereas I had to realize it in real time on Sunday night, and god damn, we really did the at halftime, whereas
No, it's it's more than that. This has been, I mean, granted that yes, you could say this whole thing has been a football season gone wrong.
because
I
for
mean,
us it
injuries are
feels
one thing, but these 1-year prove it deals do not mean squat if they do not produce. We are the oldest team in the league, and this was the wrong move.
Colts enter the chat
Every,
with the oldest as
it's
Philip
like
Rivers enters the chat.
when you consider the oldest in the NFL, you're talking about average age, not so much oldest player active on your roster.
And he's not even on the fucking active roster yet. He's
Yeah,
still
he's on the practice squad.
that
He's on the
ink is
practice
still
squad, but we'll get to
drying.
that. Yeah, we're getting to that in a sec. We're getting to that in a second. We're digressing a little too hard from the disintegration that I'm.
Are we though? Are we really though?
No, it's far enough that it's far enough for how zeroed in I need to be on this.
We're still going, aren't we?
There are players that have to go. No questions asked. Nah. Hey. Goodbye, Marshawn Lattimore. Goodbye, possibly Daron Payne. We're dealing with mental mistakes. We're dealing with frustration penalties. Jaden Daniels should not have entered this game at all. We're probably going to be sitting on a top 5 draft pick when all is said and done.
Chiefs
Peters
enter the
is,
chat. Hold my beer.
You're not a top 5 draft pick. You're not even going to be a top 5 draft pick for the Chiefs. This is completely. We have gone from a team that was showing a spectacle of relevance last year and just took the meteoric crash right back down to earth. It's like as if last year Jaden Daniels turned into Icarus and flew too close to the sun. My goodness, this is just it's shameful that I am sitting there watching a football game, or what semblance of a football game there was with the Commanders, and just seeing that this team is being totally pathetic.
That's how I felt with my Chiefs, at least at the fourth quarter with like 2 minutes left, when Rasheed Rice had
points on the board.
Dude, for what it's worth, for the Chiefs, I was more disappointed on our offensive, like, AI-generated bullshit that came off of that, and even then, like, we still were tough to produce. The sum up with the Chiefs, with the field goal with Butker, where he kicked it and then missed it, that summed up our offensive production. Like, that was more. I feel more bad for the Commanders than I do my Chiefs right now. At least you have the potential offensively versus what we have. Well, we AI generated slop versus what you guys did. You guys have the talent that is more younger than us, and we were still struggling. I'm not saying we're better than you guys. I'm saying both teams offensively were absolute garbage.
Hold up. You got your number 1 wide receiver has been more effective than ours.
When it comes to yards after catch.
I'm talking the best availability possible at this point, and that is availability.
Okay, which one are we talking? Because we have many.
Rashee Rice was suspended for 6 games. Okay.
He's good with
But
yards
those
after
are-
catch, but that's about it.
But Terry McLaurin has spent more time out with a quad injury than he has on the football field.
Okay. I haven't heard
Xavier
his name in probably a month or two. Go ahead, though.
Xavier Worthy, I think.
Bang the fuck up.
Yeah.
Bad
But
ankle, bad
Debo-
shoulder. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm going to say Debo hasn't fared much better. We just got Noah Brown back.
Yeah.
We just lost Zach Ertz with a torn ACL. So our number one tight end, yours is just not performing. Ours is now done for the year with a torn ACL.
Ours looks like he's about to be on the breakup cover, whereas Ertz just is out.
I think Travis Kelce after this year probably is going to hang it up.
I don't know if he's going to have a bad romance or if it's just going to be the fact that I don't know what his identity is going to be, but it's definitely in a crisis mode. And I'm hoping it's not going to fall in the footsteps of his brother Jason, where he retires after a devastating season. I don't want to think about that. I'd rather think of him in a glory of he rides out his career in a Super Bowl win, or at least some type of glory, rather than the way his brother went out. I don't want to think of it.
A future Hall of Famer?
I'm saying I don't want him to ride out in a glory. I would rather him win a Super Bowl or got somewhere good rather than just ending it in a way where he doesn't get in the Super Bowl.
I think it's going to be, this is it. I think this is it. I think Travis Kelce is going to retire on this fade out. I mean, will it be that he'll probably still have at least one big game left and kind of retire very much like Kobe Bryant dropping 60 in his last game?
Don't even compare Kobe to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce has not gotten hit in a helicopter crash, nor does
Ruckus. That wasn't even the illustration I was going with.
I don't even want to think about that in the same sentence, is what I'm trying to say.
I was saying, is he still going to find a way to end his career, his basketball career, on a high note? Follow the parallel I'm making, not the end result.
Either way, I don't think we need to illustrate that between those two. We need to. I think we're going too far forward right now.
Too far forward?
Because we've been saying the same shit with Kelce as far as retirement since 2 years ago. Whenever they were talking about that, whenever he was in the Kelce Bowl. Shut that shit down right now.
This is the first I have mentioned. This is really, I think, truly the first I have truly mentioned that I think Travis Kelce is really now starting to come to grips with it. This is the first I have mentioned anything of that. I figured, I'm like, okay, he'll keep going. He'll keep going. Now I'm thinking he's going to soon come to a point.
I think it's been a year. Let's be real. I think it's been a year. Because we were talking about this probably whenever he said that he's going to go till the wheels fall off. That was a year ago, at least, or two.
Yeah. Do I think he still has enough in the tank?
I think he is gotten himself in shape enough, but I think there's more. I think the problem is the league has figured it out for sure, but also I think offensively with whoever the fuck it is, Nagy or Reed, has tried to put him in situations where it hasn't benefited him enough compared to when Bieniemy had him back in the day, which is saying a lot because Bieniemy has not been that offense for 2 years, or at least 3 years, since going to the Bears. Or whatever
I'm just
fucking
not
college
wanting
program
Travis
he was
Kelce to
in.
deal with the same fate of what likely is going to be the end of Zach Ertz's career. I think Zach Ertz is going to retire after this.
I think Ertz was handled in a different way too, medically.
No, but I think he just tore his ACL.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, medically, through the medic staffs between the Chiefs or the Commanders could be different in a sense. But maybe I'm just talking out of my ass too, because I'm not in the medical field. I'm not in the medical field.
Torn ACLs are not that simple.
Right. I'm not a medical expert either, but I just feel like it's like you could gauge it in different ways depending on medical staffs too. But I could be also talking out of my butt. I don't know how things work, but I feel like it could be summed up differently or shown differently.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the 4:00 game before we truly
Combust.
wheel ourselves back over. Yeah. The Packers defeating the Bears 28-21, and I think this was a masterclass of what rivalry games are all about. Coming down to the wire, and this game had the intensity matched well for all 60 minutes. I applaud this. And then there was the Sunday night game. Ruckus may have been waiting all day to get to this game, but
like Carrie Underwood,
unfortunately, the all-night side that came with this football game left my phone in paste with a stick of dynamite next to it because of how much my DMs in Discord got blown up.
I'm sorry.
I went to bed at 10 o'clock on Sunday night because I had to get up early on Monday morning. And
I
figured about 7
apologize
8 hours.
because, my God, that was me raging for half the fucking game. And also me being drunk as fuck because I'm just like, I'm so mad that my team doesn't know how to function as far as offense. And defense is doing okay. It was doing scorched shirts because Chris Jones had to carry it. But also, for love of God, I need to have I need compulsion control because, good Lord, near the end of that game, I was just so angry at the fact that our whole offense just imploded, and I was just like, why can't we figure this shit out in the easiest stage? Yes, the Texans had the greatest defense on demand, but Jesus Christ, can Mahomes get together? That's where I was angrily waiting. Not even patiently waiting, just angrily waiting.
The Chiefs have become one-dimensional. And I know you're not going to like me saying this.
Go ahead. I'll take it. I can take it.
But at the same time, where has the Chiefs' running game, especially with both of those running backs, been all year?
I didn't even see Pacheco run well this week. He did okay against the Cowboys, but Jesus Christ, this week he did nothing. And neither did Kareem Hunt. We didn't really even establish the run. We established a shit show of offense, for sure. We couldn't get together, not even with Rashee Rice, not even in the last parts of it. He looked better in the last parts that they did the whole entire game. Travis Kelce looked rough. Rasheed Rice looked rough. Hollywood Brown didn't see. Didn't matter. Juju Smith-Schuster didn't matter. None of it mattered. With the little help of the Texans with their defensive weapons, they did a damn good job to make us look like a fool. We made ourselves look like fools. We made Plexico Burris look good on paper on his resume. We shot ourselves more in the foot. I'm just saying, we shot ourselves more in the foot than Plexico Burris could have.
Well, Plexico Burris also shot himself in the leg, but I was also saying before or after he became Cheddar Bob. But
does it fucking matter? The Chiefs did it worse than what you said last week with the Arrowheads. We kicked our own ass, as what Bienemy would have said 2 years ago. And we didn't listen to him then. And then we decided, oh, Matt Nagy's a good idea to have as offensive coordinator. Yeah, that's great. And I'm not even going to shit on Andy Heck's parade. Our O-line was already beat up beforehand, and Esapole was the best. But I'll leave that up to myself later, even though I already shot that.
But here's where I'm going as far as this running game. This running game for the Chiefs, carry among their top 3 rushers. Mahomes is the exception to this. Kareem Hunt, 3.8 yards per carry. That is barely staying on schedule for a 3-down rushing attack. Isaiah Pacheco, 4.2 yards per carry. That barely puts you on schedule. And I'm saying at 4 yards, really 5 yards a carry is kind of what you would consider great as far as running backs would go. Mahomes has 6.6 yards a carry, but he's scrambling for most of those yards. They don't have the explosive running game. And that has made them a lot less effective than they were any other year.
Sour fucking grapes. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, wait, are you saying it like as if I'm saying that it's sour grapes, or am I just calling out the...
Just me in general. I'm just sour grapes all over the Chiefs. Jesus. Like, that was bad. And I don't know how to agree. I was thinking about this during the drive home this afternoon. I was like, was the Chiefs-Texans games worse, or was it the Eagles-Chargers that was worse? Like,
yep.
Jeez.
But I'm going to mention one thing about the Texans, though. This is a Texans team that is poised to run the table, defend the AFC South, in spite the Jaguars surging. This Texans team looks ready to run the table. And that is because the Texans are just like NBA Jam. They're just on fire. They've won their last 5, including one against the Jaguars already.
More like Jimi Hendrix and Let Me Stay Next to Your Fire. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Let me stand next to your fire. Except for it's not Woodstock 99 style, it's just the song.
Yeah, I just think Houston has the right momentum to set themselves up not only to get into the playoffs, but also take the playoffs. Like, really put it to the Jacksonville
They got their
Jaguars
momentum for sure.
Pressure. Yeah. And the Jaguars still have at least one game they could potentially lose in playing Denver. it really is going to be a foot race between the two as to who's going to make it and who has tiebreakers. It's going to come down to tiebreakers between the two, and I'm honestly all for it for that division, especially seeing two teams claw and scratch for that race.
Mm-hmm.
It's all worth it. But now we get to the Chargers and Eagles, and another bit of salt into the wound for Ruckus as the Chiefs' playoff hopes continue to plummet.
I don't give a fuck at this point. If the Chiefs get into the playoffs, good. But at the same time, do we really deserve it? Probably not. I'm using my copium to the fullest here on the podcast here.
Yeah. But this game was chaotic for the Disney Plus team to have as their animated game of Monster Fun Day Football, as good football was not necessarily in the cards for it.
Especially when I was commentating on it during our writing, I was like, Jesus Christ, like, how, like, are they playing a game of chicken or what the hell is going on? But I said it in a more vulgar way, but I've already spent my vulgar tax on this episode, for the most part. Seeing how the Eagles and Chargers their defenses were way better than their offenses. So let's just put it at that, because my God, like, I don't know how you would put the Eagles offense over the Chargers, but the Eagles, it was like, okay, they get an interception off of the Chargers, and the Chargers fumble the ball, and then the Eagles get it, and then the Eagles fumble the ball, and it's like, well, shit. How do you, like, gauge that
And in
between the
both
two?
instances of the interception and the fumble lost, it was Jalen Hurts on the same play.
I'm just like, what the hell? What is going on here? It's like a Three Stooges episode, but also you have like the what's that sound like where it's like like, isn't that Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I'm not too sure, but honestly, I think I was more so going with Benny Hill and just going.
Yeah, I am the human emo. I am the human emo.
It was a Benny Hill type of game.
More like Scooby-Doo in a sense too, where it's like they look through one door and then the other. It's like they're
like
the same thing.
Where they're going through all the doors.
Yeah, give me a.
Always a common thing with Scooby-Doo is that they would do the stupid door like the going across all the doors sequence.
Oh, geez, Scoob. Rolo.
Now that Ruckus has completely filed for Chapter 11 profanity bankruptcy, we now can move on to our studded dud of the week.
If I had $1 for every time I said the F-bomb or anything else, I probably would be broke.
No, that's if you had to pay it into a swear jar.
Tell me now. All right. Stud of the week.
As again, Chapter 11 profanity bankruptcy.
I don't give a fuck anymore. All right. Stud of the week. Indiana head coach for speech after victory against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, which I completely snoozed on. I gave a more of a damn about SEC. But anyways, the point is the Indiana head coach is being very humble. He said, I've got 3.5 weeks to get these guys humbled again for the college football playoff. You're welcome, America. There's your humble head coach there. And then my honorable mention is Esapole for balling out against Daniil Hunter, which is the one takeaway I had that's positive for the Chiefs. And then my dud, I have the Chargers and Eagles for playing a big game of chicken of, no, you go first. 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 And then, oh, by the way, Saquon just goes for a long run for no apparent reason. And then, no, you go first. No, you go first. No, you go first. No, you go first. That was literally the whole fucking game until the overtime. But anyways, Spenace, I have probably made our video demonetized by now. Go ahead.
As if that wasn't already going to be the case. My honorable mention goes
We don't
to
get
the
money
Seattle
off of these.
I'm aware. My honorable mention goes to the Seattle Seahawks social media team for their trolls on the Atlanta Falcons following their victory. As in, I even showed Ruckus the pictures of this, of like the Stankonia cover of Outkast, the Migos, and all sorts of hip hop theming.
I'm cultured enough.
The trolls. Oh my goodness! Like I saw those and I started cracking up. Like it was good.
I didn't care.
But
I was just like, okay, whatever.
But my stud this week goes to Bills defensive back Christian Benford, scoring a defensive touchdown in his second consecutive game with a pick six in the victory against the Bengals. He had a scoop and score last week against the Steelers. And then my dud goes to Cowboys crash out wide receiver George the D1 crash out Pickens for his social media tirade on former defensive back Richard Sherman.
I mean, Richard Sherman is about similar.
After he said that Pickens looked disengaged and uninterested during the loss to Detroit. I mean, the Cowboys, I understand, are already a walking accident waiting to happen.
I feel like their death ray of Sunshine hit the Chiefs, but I'm not going to blame that on their loss. They did that on themselves, but I'm just saying, like, there's a death ray of Sunshine that hits sometimes when it's, like, mid-game games, like at 3 p.m.
Oh, yeah, that's because as you go later into the season, the sun sets earlier, and it just doesn't reflect well through the glare of that. Even CD Lamb has complained about it.
I wonder if that's why Jerry Jones is viewed as an evil human being, because he's like, hey, I like to watch this happen.
What was it, Mr. Burns? He basically is Mr. Burns. He's basically Mr. Burns in that owner's box.
Oh, so whenever he meant release the hounds, he literally meant to Michael Parsons release the hounds. He's like, get out of here. Let's put him on the Packers.
All right. Now we move on to the good, the bad, and the ugly, our Eastwood segment.
My favorite segment.
Yep.
All right, what is good this week?
Our good this week is Chase Brown's optimism for average Joes like us. On a podcast interview where Chase Brown was asked, could an average person gain a rushing yard in the NFL?
No.
Chase Brown has given... You wouldn't think so?
No. I think I would crumble under the pressure, especially when it's like, there's like a big guy like Chris Jones or like someone that's like 300 pounds and I'm like 145, I think I would probably be on injured reserve the first play. I'm not going to lie to you. I think I'd be dead. I'd be like, fuck this. Like, this is not worth it. But go ahead.
Now, Chase Brown actually believes it's entirely possible. He was quoted as saying, yeah, I think they definitely could, when he asked if an NFL fan could run for a yard during a discussion with Jordan Schultz and Draymond Green. He says, if you get the right blocking up front and you just send them on some sort of gap scheme and you say, yo, this is where this is going to hit. If it's just wide open and it's like they're not going to get touched, I mean, they're going to go for the yard. And I think the scheme would be the biggest thing, because if you told a normal person to go run mid zone, I think they'd get lost and run into the back of the offensive line. However, Brown made it clear that it was not so much getting the yard as to whether or not they can hang on to the football. With holding on to the ball and not fumbling when the defense made the tackle would be a different story. It's the same hypothetical question that always seems to get asked as far as like hitting a major league fastball or anything of that nature. I mean, there's no way I'm hitting major league velo. I might be able to come.
There's no way
close
in
to
hell
possibly
I would
catching it.
hit 90 miles per hour, dude. I tried a pitching machine back in the day, or back like maybe a year ago, and it was like 70 miles per hour. There was no way in hell I was hitting that. There was no
Oh, it's hard.
way.
Oh, I tell you, it's hard enough just to even try and catch it.
I can catch it, but throw it or hit it? Hell no.
Yes. All right. And what is the bad for this week? What is not so good?
I think it is a bit odd, and I touched on it earlier during my stupid rant. Players that haven't played in the NFL for many of years just coming out of retirement to play again due to injuries across the NFL. And especially now, like Mr.
We
Philip
have an
Rivers.
actual grandpa potentially preparing to play quarterback again.
Back in my day, I played at 44 years old after only playing since the pandemic of 2020.
No, like actually Philip Rivers, prior to even getting this signing with the Colts to the practice squad, had recently became a grandfather because his eldest daughter had a
I saw that on the news. I'm not dull to that. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
in my skit, I was saying that old man Rivers is 44, and now he gets to tell his great grandchildren how he got to play in the NFL after seemingly retiring in 2020 during the pandemic, where everything is like more hardened because of what happened during COVID. But
here comes the funny part about Grandpa Philip Rivers in this case.
go ahead.
He is currently a Pro Football Hall of Fame semifinalist.
But it's funny. Go ahead.
Oh, let me finish. If he gets put onto an active roster, like if he moves up to the active roster, his Hall of Fame eligibility resets. If he's on a practice squad, it doesn't count. But as soon as he gets upgraded, he cannot be eligible again until 2031.
I think it's kind of hilarious how they decided that it was a great idea now to get him, because it makes the Jeff Saturday head coaching signing look like a drunk one night deal where they're like, you know what would be a really great idea is if we signed Jeff Saturday. That'd be a great plan.
Well, Philip Rivers mostly got in because of his ties to Shane Steichen. That's it.
Well, in general, the Colts had ties with Philip Rivers during 2022, or not 2022, but 2020 as well. But like, I just think it's a bit odd that they would sign him and then be like, yeah, he's good to go after joining the practice squad. It's just like, that's very weird. And the same with Jason Pierre-Paul signing with the Bucks, I believe, or allegedly wanting to go with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, actually, I think that actually did become a signing, but Steichen had ties with Rivers while he was in with the Chargers.
I'm just saying, it's just definitely strange that was like their first choice after Riley Leonard. Who the fuck is Riley Leonard? That's what I was thinking.
I think a rookie quarterback, but JPP, yeah, JPP is coming back. Yeah, he is actually coming back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a 36-year-old.
And
But
obviously,
Riley Leonard,
everyone's also wondering what happened to Anthony Richardson, and he's still on IR. I looked
yeah,
that
he's
up.
still on IR, and Riley Leonard was a 2025 sixth round draft pick, and I believe he now also has a. I believe the reason why they did this was because he also has a knee injury. After Daniel Jones just basically said, "Oh snap! There goes my Achilles."
Dun, 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 dun.
But we'll get more. We'll get to more on Daniel Jones here later.
I love talking shit
Our
about Daniel
down,
Jones.
our downright ugly this week goes to none other than T. Higgins, as he re-enters concussion protocol following a solid performance against the Buffalo Bills. The reason why he was back on was his symptoms returned. And what does not help is that he was just cleared 2 days prior. Plays Sunday, has to go back on. It's almost like even though he was cleared, he probably still should not have been on the field. And I think that there will now become a stricter call on concussion protocol because of this. That and, of course, all the stuff involving Dart Simpson.
Who the hell are you?
And now we move on to our next segment. And we're going to go to a much lighter note before breaking down some sports a little more heavily later.
I
As we
actually
will
have
get
a
into,
last minute ad for watching, but go ahead, Spenace.
well, is it really a last minute ad when we have only kind of just started going into the segment?
Yes, because we planned this beforehand, and I feel like an asshole for adding it at the last minute.
Yeah, but if it's actual information that you're going to use, it's not really last minute because we know it's going to be there. I may not see it on my screen, but if it's there in your mind, it's not really last minute.
All
Take it
right, you heard
away,
it.
light camera action, Ruckus.
You've heard it first, folks. And for my watching, I've been observing this viral TV show on Adult Swim called Haha You Clowns, and literally the sum up of the show is literally these buff guys that are like Giga Chads that sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's all it is like they get into banter and that's about it. It's kind of like Smiling Friends, where with Smiling Friends it's more extremely weird and trippy and whatnot. But other than that, I kind of got into the P. Diddy documentary on Netflix. I haven't really listened to it much, but
You mean the one produced by 50 Cent?
yes, sir. And then I have, other than that, I'm waiting for the part 2 of Stranger Things. I watched all of the main Stranger Things, and I think it's kind of silly what theories have come up through that, but I'm not going to spoil it. Go ahead, Spenace.
Okay. So, I think it was this past weekend. My better half had decided, hey, why don't we go and watch a movie? Because we were initially going to do a trivia night. She changed her mind. We decided to go see a movie. We went and saw Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
That's a good series, though. That's a really good
Yeah,
series.
I that was the first one I had seen of them, and I am actually surprisingly impressed with the concept of them as their illusionist action heroes. And Justice Smith did a really good job in that movie. I mean, I watched him in a Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, and he was good there too. But this one was a really good one for him. On my own, I just randomly decided to watch Jingle All the Way, and that'll be a cue for our next piece coming up. But as far as playing, my biggest piece I've been on was the Metroid Prime 4 grind. I ended up picking it up. I've started a little bit of it. It's not bad, but it's also kind of not the same as old Metroid look, with certain other things that have been added in, trying to go more toward a narrative structure as opposed to just being straight Metroid.
Is this the game where you could do the keyboard and mouse gimmick thing that they showed at the advertisement
Oh,
for
for
the
the
Switch
oh
2?
for the oh for the Switch 2. Yep.
Did
Yep.
you really experiment with that?
Oh no, I always use a Pro controller for that. I have more comfort and control with it as a controller first person shooter type ordeal. But it does look like it does like a very look like a very cool novel concept. I just don't have enough room on this desk for me to do it.
I was just curious to see like how that would like work in a general setting. Like, yeah, it
It
could be
doesn't
a
look
gimmick.
it doesn't look bad. It just takes up a lot of space.
Okay.
It just feels like it would take up a lot more space, just like a standard keyboard and mouse would.
Yeah.
But now we move on to our power rankings, and it's that time of year, and we are going to go through and rank our Christmas movies. I think next week because it's the last one before Christmas. Wait, we got two more before Christmas. We do have to think of another Christmas theme for the next two, or at least one of the next two is definitely going to be Christmas music.
We will figure it out.
But it's Christmas movies this week. And I think we've got a bunch of ones that are different between each of us. And I am going to start with my number 5 of A Charlie Brown Christmas. An immediate classic. I really do think that it's completely a classic Christmas movie that I would figure I'd turn it on every Christmas season and it would never get old. Ruckus?
I have the family favorite, Frosty the Old Man, aka Frosty the Snowman, but in my younger years of being on this earth, I had it as Frosty the Old Man because I was young and naive. So there's that. What do you have for your number 4?
I mean, at least you didn't make that joke be messy, messy, messy. Number 4, I'm going with How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I could say the 2001 one for sure, but I think even the old school animated one where they had the narration with that actually still was really good.
That was my favorite one. Was the old
the 2000
old
the
narrative
one
one?
before? Oh, the old narrated one. Oh yeah, I'd go with that one. But I did also think the 2001 one was a good, unique script as well.
They're all fairly decent.
All right, number 4 for you, Ruckus.
Muppets Christmas Carol, because it adds nostalgia, and also I remember back in the day watching it, and I watched it last year with the Muppets Christmas Carol, where it was my favorite skit is Marley and Marley. Whoa! It's like the funniest part of the whole thing, and it gets stuck in my head sometimes whenever I think about it, but it's Morley and Morley. Whoa! Like, you gotta watch it sometime. I'll show it to you after the show, probably, but, yeah, keep going.
Number 3, I have another classic. And my wife is not a fan of it just simply because it would make her cry. But I think It's a Wonderful Life. Like, I've only watched it once, but I did enjoy that it's a really, truly classic movie as a whole. Number 3 for you, Ruckus.
I put Deck the Halls, and that's the Danny DeVito movie where he tries to get his house to be seen from space, aka NASA. Good movie. That's all I have
My
to say.
gosh. Our number 2 is exactly the same. As we go to Jingle All the Way, where Arnold is going and trying to find a Turbo Man action figure, only to end up becoming, in a parade, Turbo Man himself.
But also dealing with Sinbad.
Oh my gosh. I've watched that back, and the dynamic between the two, as far as like all the hilarious moments and the run-ins with the love and stuff like that. Oh, that was a trip.
Yep.
Put the cookie down now.
Jamie!
And our number 1s are completely different. And I will let Ruckus go first here.
That's my elf impression. I have elf.
And I have the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, where Drax and Mantis decide to go and kidnap Kevin Bacon for Star-Lord.
Fucking Kevin Bacon.
Yes, of all the people that you would want to eventually have come come up into space for a segment, you go with Kevin Bacon. I died. And it's one where I saw it the first time, and I couldn't help but laugh at how ridiculous it was.
Yep.
And now we go into our next segment, another hard sports segment called Color Commentary. And this week's color commentary theme is the agreement scale. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do we agree with these following statements? The first one, the Indianapolis Colts considering franchise tagging Daniel Indiana Jones is a good move. What's the number you're going with?
I'm going with the lowest possible, which is scale
At
of
1.
1, because my guy Daniel Jones is done. This Ivy League looking ass person needs to be out of the NFL. If Josh Rosen can't make it, neither can Daniel Jones. They both look like Ivy League buttholes that look like they would probably do well in a game of golf, but in the NFL, get out of here.
Okay. Let's look at the numbers for Daniel Jones ever since he's come over to the Indianapolis Colts.
Absolute butthole.
He's 7th in the league in passing yards at 3,101 yards. He had 19 touchdowns, 8 picks. Is that honestly horrible for this point in the season?
Yes.
Not.
He is
What
absolute.
are you expecting? What
Not-
expectation are you
I have
looking
no.
for?
I have no expectation for Daniel Jones because he's absolute butthole. He is absolute booty cheeks. He had
a what I would consider by the standards of which he was at before, and we're going to look at the career stats here. He was about less than 100 yards short of his career high in passing yards in 2022.
God forbid.
So he had his second highest career passing yard total, his second highest touchdown total, career high in quarterback rating, career high QBR, career high completion percentage, 5 rushing touchdowns, which was the second most. He rushed for a career low, but he also was not on the run as much. He did get he had a reception in 2021. But he has not been. I think that this year as a whole for Daniel Jones was a massive improvement. Do I consider the franchise tag at this point, now that his Achilles is torn, to be a complete flight risk? Absolutely. Had he been fully healthy and all he needed was a repair on the fibula, this probably, at fully healthy, I would have considered this about a 7. With only the fibula repair, I probably would give it about a 6. It's now down to a 4 for me. It's down to a 3 at the lowest, because I think it is not a good move for the Colts longer term. On the short term, the longer term, it would work if they eventually found out a way to possibly get a deal and not have to shell out as much on the first year of it.
Yeah.
But I think that overall, it, especially because the Colts don't have their first couple of draft picks, but the franchise tag for a quarterback is up around $46 million potentially. So having him play on that franchise tag alone is a flight risk as well.
We need to keep
especially
going.
for the rest of your team build. So I'm going to say a 3.
Let's wait to keep going.
Notre Dame's rejection of any bowl invites after failing to make the college football playoff is more sour grapes about being kept out, rather than showing why they should have been put in. How agreeable is this statement?
I really don't give a shit about the college football playoff because I think it's silly, but at the same time, I think college football should be embraced more for the bowl games rather than the playoffs, because at the same time, I feel like the playoffs are just silly. Like, yeah, it shows like more experience, acceleration for like the NFL, but in all honesty, what are you really trying to set yourself up for as far as the football playoff versus like a bowl game? Are you trying to make your resume better because you won the football playoff, or is it more so because you're just accelerated due to the program that persists for that was already overhyped? I don't know.
I am actually in full agreement on this. This is Notre Dame basically saying to all of these teams that want to all of these bowls that want to invite them, because we did not get to where we should have been, we're gonna basically say 3 fingers up and read between the lines, give you the middle, and say we're not playing. they are basically being petty
It's
about it.
it's more of a protest than anything, to be honest. But I was just wondering what this means for college football in general, because I remember how awesome it was for bowls to happen. They would have bowl games and they would just play them
mean-
instead of just giving a shit about, oh, by the way, they're the national college football champion. It's like, dude, it's very slim in general how you do it. And even if you do like a playoff scenario, even like I was trying to explain before, where it's like you put more teams into it to make it more interesting, but how the fuck do you make it more interesting when the teams that are in it are teams that are more funded rather than the teams that could have more talent and stun the others? And March Madness only goes so far as the football season because of just how many injuries happen and also just how the seasons go. It's kind of like the NFL, but in a different
And
way.
more schools have a basketball team than they do a football team.
Right. Like KU.
I wasn't talking the reputation of a basketball team. I was saying more schools having basketball
I
as
added
their
that
main
in.
men's
Chill
sport in the
out.
program.
I added that in as a joke. It's okay.
But yes, I'm going to say that this is definitely a 9, at least a 9, as far as that. The next one and last one for this, John Harbaugh claims that the NFL's catch rule is as clear as mud following the reversal of a potential game-tying touchdown catch for Isaiah Likely, as Baltimore would have had to go for 2.
Harbaugh is a crappy coach, and he's an idiot. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm going to say for catches in the end zone, I could see where he goes into that clear as mud a little bit, but I don't think it's fully like. There's some things that are very, very murky, but there are some things that are still pretty clear. I'm probably going to say this is about 5. This is truly a 5. I thought Isaiah Likely would have already had it to actually officially count, because I initially thought it was a touchdown, because I thought he held onto the ball long enough and got both feet down, had possession, and honestly, at that point, if you've got solid stuff with that and you hold on to it long enough and you've got both feet down, who should care about what the third step is? Third step shouldn't matter at that point, because he's already through the plane. So that's why I say that's more so at a 5 for me. And
All right.
now we move to the film room. Update going into this week, where there are 7 points on the line. And I am still up by 14 with the potential to break 100 if I run the table. The only college football game this week is Army-Navy. Who you got?
I have Navy.
I've had more family members involved in it as well. Go Navy, beat Army. And in the NFL, we start with the Ravens and Bengals.
I think the Bengals are more angry than the Ravens, so I'm going Bengals.
I am going to say that this is where I think the new hope for Cincinnati begins as far as a playoff run. I'm taking Cincinnati here, because I think that they're looking like they're a team that's more ready for a playoff run. Chiefs Chargers.
I'm going Chiefs, even though the Chargers are probably going to win the game, but we'll just see what happens at high noon.
Let's knock the playoff hopes out. I'm taking the Chargers.
Fuck you. That's all I'm gonna say.
If it's not going to happen now, it's going to happen on Christmas. Guaranteed. Bills, Patriots. Who you
Uh,
got?
I'm gonna go Bills. That's one thing I could probably agree on with you.
I actually am taking the Patriots here because this game's at Gillette.
Ew, gross.
Drake May has 2 weeks to prepare for the Bills, and Drake May has been legit all year
Prove
long.
me wrong.
I am going to let some numbers do that. I'm going to play the numbers game here with you. Drake May is second in the league in passing yards, has 23 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, third in the league in overall QBR this season at 72.2. He's been pretty much the best quarterback in the league practically this year as far as numbers go and how well the team has been playing. And he's only a sophomore quarterback. The Patriots are just flat out on a roll right now. They caught fire going into the bye week, and now 2 weeks to prepare for Baltimore and on a hot streak. Ride the hot hand. Taking the Patriots.
Okay.
Packers, Broncos.
Packers.
This is another one where I'm going to say, although there's been a little bit of luck involved, I think you still ride the hot hand here. Broncos country. Let's ride. Taking the Broncos here. Even with this also being in Mile High. Lions, Rams.
I'm going LA Rams over Lions.
I think the Rams are the more complete team. I'm going to take the Rams here. And then last but not least, the Steelers and the Dolphins.
Steelers. I think the Steelers are more complete over the Dolphins.
I'm going to say if and only if DK Metcalf even plays. The only issue I have in where I'm going with this game is that Tua Tagovailoa, or should I say Tua turned the ball over, doesn't necessarily do well in cold. And AccuWeather has this game being at 21 degrees. But I am going to be aggressive here. I'm going to take the Dolphins, who are surging right now, as they have won their last 4 and are fighting and now showing some fight for a playoff spot. I think I'm gonna ride the hot hand here and take the Dolphins. And now we round third and are headed for home. ESPN and Disney Plus do the Monsters Fun Day Football game with the Chargers and Eagles. Other than that, this game was absolutely a very chaotic one. Do we have any thoughts about the style? I think we kind of talked about that we preferred the Simpsons game more. So
I think the Simpsons has more lore to it, whereas Monsters Inc. doesn't really have much to it besides 2 movies. But like, obviously with the Simpsons, it's more of they've had more seasons to deal with. But yeah.
All right, the college football playoff bracket thoughts. Indiana, Ohio State, Texas Tech, and Georgia get the byes. And the first games will be Oregon, JMU, Tulane, Ole Miss, an opener with Oklahoma and Alabama, and Texas A&M and the Miami Hurricanes, who got in over Notre Dame, playing next week. We'll predict these games next week. But your early thoughts on the bracket.
Eh. That's what I thought.
I am only going to say this. I am still hoping for the national champion to have the two words be hottie toddy, but I doubt it's going to happen, but I'm hopeful. But ESPN will be airing a new 30 for 30 called Booyah, a portrait of Stuart Scott. Will we be watching it?
Probably. Also, by the way, not to hone in on Stuart Scott's parade, but what I was going to say on my thought besides meh was also Boomer Sooner. I hope the Oklahoma Sooners beat the Roll Tide. Other than that,
Yeah.
booyah.
But yeah, I am actually really excited for this 30 for 30 as soon as I saw that it was coming.
Me
I will
too.
be watching it at the earliest point that I get a chance for it. I plan to watch it before episode next week, without a doubt. And I'm hopeful, and hopefully it'll be as cool as the other side of the pillow. And on that note, that'll do it for episode number 166 of the Ruckus and the Menace podcast. I'm Spenace the Menace.
And I am Ruckus, always not ever causing a ruckus.
And until the next one, as Stu would say, hugs and hand pounds, everybody.
Booyah.